In today's lesson, we're going to clear up the confusion that the words little, a little, few, and a few create for many of us. It is pretty amazing that I have a few friends and I have few friends almost mean the opposite things. So let's go over to the slides to clarify the correct usage of these four quantifiers. Easy to Zap English Errors Lesson 9. Little or a little, few or a few. Let's have a quick look at what we're going to do in this lesson. We'll start with a test yourself quiz. Then we'll look at the difference between little and few. Then the difference between little and a little. Then the difference between few and a few. And we'll end with a final quiz. Okay, let's begin with our Test Yourself quiz. I'd like you to choose the sentence with the same meaning as this sentence first. I need some time. Is it I need a little time? I need little time? I need few time? Or I need a few time? The correct answer is A. I need a little time. Let's do one more. There aren't many people who know this. Which sentence will have the same meaning? This one? There are a little people who know this? Or B? There are little people who know this? There are a few people who know this? Or D? There are few people who know this? The correct answer now is D. There are few people who know this. Okay, let's find out why these are the correct sentences. By first of all looking at the difference between little and few. Little is the opposite of much. Few is the opposite of many. That's why we use little with uncountable nouns and few with countable nouns. For example, little rice, little coffee, little time, little traffic, but few vegetables, few questions, few children, few people. Remember that children and people are irregular plural nouns. Okay, now let's look at the difference between little and a little. As we saw in the last slide, little is the opposite of much. So little means a small quantity of things, whereas much means a large quantity of something. So I will have little time means I will not have much time. Little means not much. Now we can make the idea of little even more negative by adding very to it. So I will have very little time means I will have almost no time. So very little means almost nothing. But if we add a to little, we give it a positive sense. So I will have a little time means I will have some time. A little means some. So you can see that little and a little are almost the opposite of each other. Okay, let's have a look at few and a few. As we saw earlier, few is the opposite of many. So few means a small number of things, whereas many means a large number of things. So if I say there are few applicants, I mean there are not many applicants. Few means not many. And to make the idea of few even more negative, we can add very to it. So if I say there are very few applicants, I mean there are almost no applicants. So very few means almost none. But if we add a to few, we create a positive sense. So if I say there are a few applicants, I mean there are some applicants. So a few means some. Again, you can see that few and a few almost have the opposite ideas. Okay, I hope that's all clear. I'd like to make you aware of the most common mistake that I see and hear among my students, which is missing the a when they want to make a positive statement. So look at this, for example. We're happy to see little progress. Now, happy has a positive sense, whereas little progress has a negative sense. So little is not the right expression here. We need to use a little. We are happy to see a little progress. We're happy to see some progress. Now, if you want to create a negative statement, you can keep little, but you need to adjust the rest of the sentence. So here we go again. We are happy to see little progress. We want to create a negative situation now, so we need to adjust happy and change it to sad. Now it's okay to say we're sad to see little progress. And if you want, you can intensify the negative sense by adding very. We are sad to see very little progress. Okay, that's the end of the lesson. Let's do our final quiz. I'd like you to decide if there's a mistake in the sentence, and if there is, correct it. Okay, let's begin with number 1. He was upset because he had a few nice comments. This is not correct because we have the negative sense of being upset and the positive sense of having some nice comments. So we need to get rid of a few and say few or very few. He was upset because he had very few nice comments. Okay, moving on to number 2. I'm worried because I've had little news from her. Now that's correct because worry has a negative sense. Why? Because she has not had much news, and the opposite of much is indeed little. Okay, number 3. I was expecting many children, but there were very little. Okay, this is incorrect because children is a countable noun. I was expecting many children, so we're looking for the opposite of many, which is few. I was expecting many children, but there were very few. Okay, next one, number 4. It's good to spend little time in the garden every day. This is incorrect because good is a positive sense. So we want to say it's good to spend some time in the garden every day, and therefore little needs to change to a little. It's good to spend a little time. It's good to spend some time in the garden every day. Number 5. There's very few information about this topic. Okay, that is also incorrect because information is an uncountable noun and therefore we can't use few, we have to use little. there's very little information about this topic. There is not much information. And finally, number 6. Let's talk now. We have a few things to discuss. This is correct because we need to talk now. Why? Because we have some things to discuss, a few things to discuss. Well, that is the end of lesson 9.